In this video, we're going to look back quickly at Unit 2 and all the activity that we had there, and we'll also give a quick preview of Unit 3, where we're looking at some research articles and some popular media articles about technology and mathematics education. But Unit 2 that we just finished was really a unit where we wanted to explore this question of, do teachers nowadays need to have different skills and different knowledge than they did a few years ago or decades ago? Or a kind of fun way to think about that question is, if you took a great mathematics teacher from the 1960s, a great one, and plopped them down right now into an era of smartphones and tablets and the internet, would the students of that teacher now be advantaged or disadvantaged? Would those students be lucky because they have a great mathematics teacher, according to 1960s standards? Or would the students be disadvantaged because they have a teacher who maybe knows pedagogy and content, but doesn't know how to incorporate the technology or to connect to the things that are pretty pervasive in the world today? That's kind of the big question. So the TPACK article and discussion around it was really about the knowledge piece. Do teachers need to have knowledge about how technology can support students' thinking, or is it enough to just have solid pedagogical knowledge and solid mathematical content knowledge? Do teachers need to be internet savvy? That's kind of what the internet search article was getting at, because it's really common now for teachers to basically build their own curriculum by finding things online rather than just using the textbook. So if that's really common for math teachers, does that internet search skills, is that now a necessary part of being an effective mathematics teacher? And in Unit 2, we didn't really set out to answer those questions, but we wanted to raise the questions. What does it mean to be an effective mathematics teacher in today's technological world? And I guess we sort of imply that the technological skills are important because we do have a whole course on it. And also the internet search assignment, we are sort of implying that effective internet searching is a teaching skill, not just a sort of separate, world skill in the technology world. So we have some implied answers, but I think it still is an important question, and it's a matter of open debate right now. The internet search assignment, so first of all, a lot of people go to do their internet searches because they're addressing some limitations of the textbook. So they wanted to find something that's more engaging. That was a big common theme across a lot of you. And people also wanted to look for something that was maybe more conceptual or a better problem than the procedural repetition that's often in the book. A lot of people searched through a single portal, like they would always go to Google and that was the place where they would search. Or they would search through Pinterest and that'd be it until they found something that they were going to use. And we also noticed that anything that it required payment or was behind a paywall usually was just ignored, so it was really looking for stuff that was freely available. Searching typically began with the curriculum standard or the mathematical topic. That was definitely how people kind of started their search. And some people did reflect nicely on the questions that you ask yourself or the way that you evaluate what you're finding. And I thought it was good to hear people making that explicit about how you're doing that search and how you're identifying the things that are going to be best for you. Lauren, for example, she had a list of questions that she asks herself when she's searching online. Number one, does this activity follow what I'm teaching? So does it fit in with her kind of sequence that she's looking for? Number two, is this activity on level with my students? So she wants to make sure that it's going to meet the sort of demands of her students and the level or the difficulty that they can approach. And then number three, can this activity be differentiated? So hopefully people could compare their criteria that they used in the assignment from week 1, compare that to the article that you read in week 2, seeing how the research study tried to identify those criteria that teachers sometimes use. In the TPACK article and the discussion around that, a lot of people talked about the TPACK knowledge being necessary but not sufficient for being a good mathematics teacher. JC, for example, said, I believe that there are other skills necessary to be a good teacher. For example, a teacher needs to be able to build positive relationships and communicate with students to fall in the category of being a good teacher. So we agree with those sentiments about there are a lot of skills that you need to be a good teacher that are not part of the technological skills. Others talked about how personalization was important and that some stuff online is very generic and it's a teacher's job to take that and make it connected and relevant for their students. Stephanie, for example, said, the internet is a great place to get new ideas and collaborate with other educators, but it is also important to tailor the material to the class. And I think that's one of the most important things that a teacher does, which is the teacher is really the one who knows his or her students personally. Then there was some discussion about if the technological skills are at least somewhat important, how do teachers gain those skills? Joseph talked about a need for a tiered professional development system or differentiation for the teachers getting PD, because it'd be silly for really tech savvy people to go to a session on like the basics of using Google Sheets. But Joseph said it would be super useful for him to attend something that's talking about creating macros or coding your own apps to apply to a Google Sheet. So that idea of differentiation for teachers is, I think, an important one as we try to all get better at our technological skills and knowledge. Now, looking ahead to Unit 3, which starts today, we have several readings for you to take a look at. There's 4 required readings and 1 optional reading. 2 of the readings are research articles that are studies of calculator use and kind of comparing calculators to not having calculators in teaching math. And the context is pre-calculus and calculus, which might seem like more advanced mathematics than most of you are teaching. But the focus of the articles is it's really on the calculators and not the calculus, so we still think that it'll be relevant for people to think about, and calculators are a big issue throughout the entire mathematics curriculum basically. Then we also have a few popular media articles, opinion pieces or essays on technology and math education. So the first one involves Wolfram, who you might know from Wolfram Alpha, and then there's another article that's about Pokemon Go and a couple teaching ideas related to Pokemon Go. So those are a look at, rather than research literature, more like popular writings and things that the public might see in general media or websites about math education and technology. We also have an assignment for the next 2 weeks. It's going to be to conduct a survey of technology and mathematics education. You can pick if you want to survey students, you might want to survey parents, or you might want to survey colleagues or administrators. If you're not teaching right now, you could also survey friends and family and get some opinions about technology and mathematics education. So we have a few sample questions that we want you to include, but then you can also write up a few of your own questions. We want you to write and draft your survey by this Friday, even Friday night's okay, so that we can look at it and give you feedback over the weekend, and then next week you can administer your survey. We'd like you to try to get at least 12 responses, if not quite a bit more. And then by the end of the unit, so in 2 weeks, you can write up your responses, what you found, and also give your reactions to what you found and how you are interpreting the responses. So that's the main assignment for this unit. We are looking forward to it, and we will see you online.